Dealmaker Fulcrum. A fulcrum is a pivot point where a lever rests. A teeter-totter, or a seesaw, is a lever and a fulcrum. It has an apex or pivot point in the middle and a lever on both sides. As the weight is distributed to one side, that lever rises up on the other side. As the weight is distributed more heavily on the other side begins to rise. Deal making is very similar to this analogy in the sense that every deal, every buying opportunity, has a dealmaker fulcrum. On one side of the fulcrum is price, and on the other side of the fulcrum is terms. Price is how much a buyer is willing to pay. Terms are the circumstances under which you would be willing to buy. Real estate agents are trained to find the most balanced price and terms. A reasonable price with reasonable terms equals a smooth retail transaction. If you're chasing commissions, then you'll probably want to shoot for balanced transactions with zero hiccups too. But if you're a deal maker and an investor, you're going to want to radically unbalance the dealmaker fulcrum. Oftentimes, you can pay very little for a property if you pay all cash and close quickly when that meets the seller's needs. Other times, you may agree to pay more than retail price if the seller is willing to give you terms that you want, like zero down payment or low monthly payments that allow you to get into a property with very little money and make large cash-on-cash returns. Rarely will you be able to get both a great price and great terms, but as a deal maker, you will find a balance driven by what the seller's needs or motives are for selling. Many would-be real estate entrepreneurs are taught just to shoot out lowball offers. You go to a seller and say, "I'll give you all cash and close quickly." And sometimes this will work. However, this method is flawed. You haven't properly diagnosed the situation on what your seller needs. You might be making an offer that's ridiculous. Now let's say you have a seller who thinks his house is worth $500,000. You might say, "Hey, I'll give you all cash and close quickly, and I'll give you $400,000 for the property." He could say, "Get the hell out of my house." It's insulting. The price is ridiculous. You've just learned that your seller couldn't care less about being paid cash and closing quickly. Now, on the other hand of the dealmaker fulcrum, a lot of would-be real estate entrepreneurs get stuck because they say, "Well, I made the offer and, I can't pay full retail." They only have half a toolbox. Offering all cash with a quick close is offering terms that you think the seller wants, but you need to dig and find out what they really want. Like a doctor, you'll need to first diagnose your patient, then prescribe the solution. Being a deal maker is a lot like being a kung fu master. In kung fu, they teach you how to use your opponent's movements and energy against them. As a deal maker, you'll want to seek first to understand what your seller wants and needs, and have them tell you anything and everything about them. Then you could diagnose the seller's situation and figure out a way to give them what they need.